What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you my exciting assassin build in the Outer Worlds. So, whereas a lot of the melee builds have been using two-handed weapons, I thought it would be fun to make an assassin build. Now, one thing to keep in mind is, honestly, this isn't like a super optimal way to play. It's very fun, it's very effective, even on hard difficulty. However, in terms of raw damage numbers, there are a few options that are definitely better. They recently nerfed the prismatic hammer build, so I don't know if that's still better than this in terms of raw damage, but there are a couple builds that are honestly just straight up easier to play. So this is, while it's not super difficult, honestly none of the builds in this game are. Just keep in mind that if you're looking for efficiency, this probably isn't the build for you. So, with that out of the way, jumping right into it, we're going to start with attributes. Our primary focus is strength, dexterity, and intelligence. Now, strength and intelligence are probably the most important ones. Dexterity I'd definitely get to high, but very high isn't necessary. And then I would choose either strength or intelligence to get to very high by taking your temperament to below average. Temperament gives you passive health regeneration and is honestly useless even at very high. So that's pretty much all you do. Put this below average, that'll give you 7 points. Kind of decide how to distribute them between strength, dex, and intelligence, and you're pretty much good to go. Perception can give you extra headshot and weak damage, but personally I didn't find it super useful for this build. Alright, and switching over to a different character who's actually at max level, and a couple other things. Moving on to our skills. So obviously we want to put 100 in one-handed melee. This is where pretty much all of our damage is coming from as an assassin's build using one-handed melee. From there we actually want to pick up block. You can respec later in the game and get rid of block if you want, because at the end game it's not super useful, but as you're leveling up and developing some of your skills, block can be pretty useful and will prevent you from taking a lot of damage until you can get your armor and your perks in place that really kind of make playing this a breeze. So block can be useful in the early game. You can respec it later if you want and put it into something more interesting. From there we put sneak at 100, of course. This is for our sneak attack damage and just overall fun sneaking around, because if you're an assassin, like, you know, that's your whole thing. From there I actually recommend putting just a few points into medical. So all of these together, that's pretty much going to tap out your points, but try to put some in medical, as this will give you extra healing from your inhaler and is just pretty useful overall, as well as unlocking your drug mixing slot and kind of giving yourself some more buffs from your inhaler. But for the most part, sneak and one-handed melee are the most important, because that's what we're going around stabbing people with. Now, perks. So you'll see that I have 3 available. Those extra 3 are actually from flaws that this character had taken. So what I'm showing you here is what you'll have at max level minus any flaws you took. So first off, we're going to pick up toughness for extra base health, which is always useful as a melee character. We're going to pick up slow the world, which is going to give us extra TTD max. We're going to pick up lone wolf. This is going to give us 25% extra damage when we are by ourselves. So this build, because you're an assassin, personally I like to play it alone. You don't necessarily have to. You can pick up companions. That said, if you choose to pick up companions and not play this alone, drop lone wolf and then pick up some of these companion abilities down here in tier 2. They'll help you out as far as damage goes. Now, from there I actually like to pick up quicken the dead, which gives us a better recharge rate on our TTD meter. And then resilient, which is going to give us +5 base armor rating, which makes us a little tankier just naturally. Then we're going to pick up the Reaper, which is going to give us extra TTD restored per kill. Note that while you are in the tactical time dilation mode, if you kill someone, it'll actually take you up to a minimum required to enter the mode as compared to the full 25%. You only get the full 25% out of combat, or out of tactical time dilation rather, but you do restore it in the mode, just not nearly as much. Then we're going to pick up Speed Demon, which gives us extra movement speed during TTD. Then we're going to pick up Scanner, which is going to give us extra weak spot damage during TTD. And then we're going to pick up Harvester, which will give us 15% restored health per kill. Then we're going to pick up Confidence, which our next attack after killing an enemy is a guaranteed critical hit. We're going to pick up Armor Master, which is going to give us extra armor rating as well as doubles the skill bonuses from armor. We're going to pick up Tactical Master, which will give us extra movement speed for our first 5 seconds in TTD. This can help you cover ground and hit enemies really quickly. Then we're going to pick up Last Stand. If we happen to get under 25% health, we're going to do a ton of damage. This one doesn't see a lot of use, but it can be kind of fun. And then we get Tit for Tat, which 15% of our melee damage, which is pretty much all of our damage, is returned as health. And then lastly, I like to pick up High Maintenance just for convenience. It just kind of helps with durability loss, and we had an extra point to spend. But if you don't want to pick up that, feel free to pick up literally anything else. That last point isn't super important. So with that said, moving on to items. Because we're using one-handed melee items, I personally like to use the Officer Spine Gold with a plasma attachment. Now, there are 5 types of damage in this game. If you go to your codex in the journal, it can explain exactly what each of them do. But personally, I prefer plasma. It does extra damage to several enemy types, normal damage to most everything else, and is only weak against mantisaurs. Obviously, level this up. You can usually find them around level 25 and then can tinker them up a few levels and get some really great DPS out of them. I personally didn't explore all of the one-handed unique items. Like, I found a couple that honestly I didn't think were that great because you can't change the mods, and most of them are acid damage type, and I don't like that particular damage type because it's a damage over time thing and you just don't get a lot of DPS out of it, in my opinion. But that said, what you can do is pick up several of these or several one-handed melee weapons and cycle the damage types on all of them. That way you're constantly using an effective damage type. That's totally an okay way to play it. Personally, I just stuck with this Officer Spine Gold, and I was pretty golden with just the plasma. However, if you want to metagame a little bit, you can carry like 4 of these with all the different damage types if you want. So, from there, we are looking at armor. The best armor for this is, of course, the Iconoclast Apostle armor, which is the incredibly good melee armor that you get from doing the Iconoclast quests on Monarch. Now, these give you a ton of armor and a bunch of perks to melee damage, and on top of our base armor rating, they actually put us up to an 85 body and 77 head armor rating, and they're not even max level. That is what we're looking at gear-wise, and then, of course, as a playstyle, the dungeons are probably where this shines the best, because obviously, you're sneaking around, you're attacking things in a dungeon, you're not necessarily alerting everything around you every time you hit something. What's a little more difficult is honestly running around the open world and exploring, because you're kind of geared towards stealth. What tends to happen is you wind up just running around attacking everything really fast with the melee weapon. So it's doable to sneak up on stuff in the open world. You really got to focus on using the grass and the terrain to your advantage, but it's very hard after that first kill to maintain that stealth, and because of that, a lot of times you just end up running around hitting everything. So from there, obviously the dungeons are where this place shines the best, and it's really fun to play. So, as you can see from the background here, you can obviously get some really good damage. Honestly, a lot of this footage isn't even from an optimized character on hard mode. So, personally, from messing around, I found that with a perfectly optimized character, attributes and everything, you can expect to hit between 2.5k and 3k damage on your sneak attacks, and roughly 2.2k on all of your regular kind of good critical hits on a lot of enemies besides that. So there you go, guys, my assassin build. Again, it is not the most super efficient build in the world, but it is very fun to play. It's a very fun way to play the game. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, all the stuff YouTube always tells you to do for the algorithm. That said, I hope you enjoyed the content. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.